All right, what's going on, Tycoon? Super excited for today's video. We're going to be looking at skills. All right, SKLZ is the first one that I'm going to show you guys. I'm going to give you guys three stocks that are really, really cheap right now. Explain kind of why they've been selling off, the reasoning behind it, and just give you some key levels to watch out for. All right. So first one on that list is going to be skills, SKLZ. And we've got this nice descending wedge pattern right here. All right, now this is a bullish pattern. It's been trading in between this pattern, and if you've watched any of my skills videos, I have this long-term buy zone here. Is this oval, which is below $9 basically. All right, so $9 down to $2. Um, you know, we were not trading at these support levels down here or down here yet. But I had these charted up. I showed everybody, and I've had this pulled up for a long time. Okay, so all of these support levels have been valid. If you notice, we're bouncing at these levels. um you know so right now we have a 52-week low of 5.73. Okay, most likely it looks like if we don't see a recovery soon on skills, it's gonna go down to the next support level at 468. All right, now 468 is going to be right down here. It's going to be really close to the bottom of this pattern, so it's going to be interesting to see what happens. Okay, if we trade a little bit sideways, or come down here and just trade a little bit sideways down here, go up and down, and then we have a breakout in like March or February next year, or I'm sorry, this year, in 2022, then this has some really good upside potential. Okay, skills. If you look them up, they're a gaming company, esports. They're really, really nice. I like them a lot, and their earnings. If you look up, do your own research. Of course, this is not financial advice, but the company has some good numbers behind them. Okay, so that's skills. The next one we'll look at is going to be Roku. All right. And Roku has been absolutely bleeding as well. If you've been shorting Roku or buying puts on Roku, you are just making a monstrous amount of money. I remember when people were like, oh, it's going to go to 190. And then, and right now it's at 165. So, same thing with Roku. We are in this bearish channel right here. Okay. Roku is one of Cathie Wood's like high conviction plays basically that she has. So if you follow Cathie Woods, then maybe a little bit about Roku, and you would want to follow her in some of that. But the key thing to notice here is that we broke all the main support levels. Okay, we broke the 225 support level, we broke the 168 support level, and we're heading down towards our 123.5 support level. All right, and we have this nice purple bearish channel right here. And if you notice, we're basically just riding this. Okay, so yeah, we pop, but overall it's just going down, making lower lows on the top and the bottom. Okay, and where's the next one? We're gonna look at FUBO. All right, so FUBO is really interesting. FUBO, if you zoom out a little bit on the daily chart, you can go ahead and see, right, that this is our demand zone right here. Okay, so you can see we had a very, very big pop the other day, FUBO did, and that was really nice. But that was a result of it, like, just coming down in demand. And now algorithms and institutions are starting to pay attention to it and add some positions to it finally, because it's in their demand zone. Because people have been wondering, why is this thing, just been bleeding so hard? FUBO, what's going on? Basically that's it, is hedge funds and algorithms and the institutions, that accounts for like 70% of the trading. They don't have any reason to buy FUBO, right? Because they bought in over here in demand, and then it rallied insane, and then they sold, and it just dropped dramatically. Everybody came in and bought in, brought the price up. Okay, and ever since then it's just been a sell-off. Like, it tries to recover, it gets stuck consolidating, comes back down. Okay, so we're touching demand. As you can see, this is the demand zone on the daily chart. So it's a pretty big demand zone, but when you look at the perspective of the overall chart, this zone is not too big. Okay, so the demand zone is going to be from about 8 to 14.50 bucks. All right, 8 to 14.50 is where we're going to find support at for FUBO. And FUBO is pretty cheap right now. It has a daily gap up to 30 and a daily gap up to 39. So, let me just show you guys what that would be. Okay. If you bought it today and you held however long it took for the first gap to fill, that would be, sorry, $31, right? Up to 31.50, then that would be 145% return on your money. All right. And then if you held it until the daily gap filled up to 39, then that would be a 200% return on your money. All right. Now that's if you bought it here. If you're able to snag it at the bottom of demand or near the bottom of demand, right? Let's just say $10 and you hold it up to the first gap. All right. That's 200% over 200%. And then you hold it up to the second gap, that's 287%. So some really juicy returns here if you're patient enough, right? Because this may take a year, this may take 6 months, this may take, 2, 3, 4 years, right? For these bullish gaps up to fill. But you gotta if you have any conviction in FUBO and you believe in their company and want to invest in them, or you have been an investor in the past, now is when basically people are starting to pay attention to it. Okay, so it's gonna come in between here and find some support. This is gonna be its demand zone. I don't see it falling lower than really $8. Okay, that's its all-time low, with an all-time high of 62.29. So I mean, just imagine, let's say you buy in here at 10, right, and then you hold it all the way back till let's say you hold it for like 5 or 10 years, however long it takes, because this is a passive investment for you. This is a long-term trade, so you're not looking to sell anytime soon. You hold it to all-time highs. That's 500% right there if you can buy in at $10. So I mean, imagine putting $1,000 in there, and it turns into 6,000. That would be amazing, right? So that's just some ways that people build their wealth and invest. So you don't have to always be buying things in the stock market. You can wait till things are at a really good price, have your money saved up, ready to go for when these stocks are at these levels that they are now. So remember, this is not financial advice. All three of these most likely are going to continue dropping. But the reason I'm, bringing them to your attention is because I believe that there's going to be a market rotation in the small caps. And then, a lot of these tech companies and like future growth, tech companies like Roku and stuff been bleeding very bad. So that's the main reason why they're being driven to all these levels, right? Hedge funds and institutions and algorithms are making money shorting these. There's no reason for them to stop, right? So they're gonna short it until it reaches the demand zone, right? And it's now starting to touch it. We saw some signs of life with a huge spike the other day recently, and now we're waiting for it to basically just find support, all right, and recover. So maybe if you have $1,000, what you can start doing is maybe buy $100 at a time, right? Because you don't want to go all in right now if it falls lower. It's at 12.89 right now. Maybe you buy $100 worth here. If it falls to $12, you buy another $100. If it falls to 11, or if it falls to 10, or if it falls to 9 or 8, it's all about determining what prices you're comfortable buying at. But I don't recommend going all in at once. I think it's much better, especially if you're grabbing shares or a long-term position, to just kind of start feeding it slowly. So that way, you're not getting burnt. In case things do drop lower, you do have money to keep on buying the dip. Okay, that's what people mean by buy the dip. They start a position, right? And if it dips, within their designated demand zone where they like it at, then they'll go ahead and buy some more, right? So I have tutorials on all of these strategies, such as supply and demand, how to draw support and resistance, things like that. So definitely subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to like and comment as well. That'll really help me out.